The Resilient Revolution, how vulnerability transforms trauma into triumph. What if the most powerful thing you could do today isn't powering through another challenge, but admitting you're struggling? What if your greatest strength isn't in hiding your wounds, but in showing them? Society has sold us a dangerous myth, the myth that true leaders never falter, that successful people don't cry, that strong women, especially strong Black women, must always stand tall, shoulders back, emotions locked away, ready to carry the world without complaint. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Angela Smith, a woman whose journey embodies what happens when we dare to challenge this toxic narrative. Angela isn't just a survivor, she's a revolutionary force redefining what strength looks like in our world. Through unimaginable hardship, homelessness, abuse, and the devastating loss of a child, she has emerged not just intact, but illuminated. Her willingness to name her trauma while refusing to be defined by it is helping rewrite what leadership and success look like, particularly for Black women who've been conditioned to wear strength like armor. The insights from our conversation weren't just powerful, they were transformative, and they deserve to be amplified in a world desperate for authentic connection. Here's what I discovered: resilience isn't about never falling, it's about how you rise. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the bridge to authentic connection. And true leadership includes the courage to heal openly, creating pathways for others to do the same. Let's be honest, we're living in an era where burnout is celebrated, where grinding is glorified, where being busy is a status symbol. But at what cost? The cost of our mental health, our relationships, our very humanity. The data is sobering. Black women experience depression at twice the rate of their white counterparts, yet are half as likely to seek help. They're more likely to experience chronic stress from racial and gender discrimination. And they're often the least likely to prioritize their own well being while caring for everyone else. This isn't just a personal problem, it's a cultural crisis. But there's hope. A revolution is brewing, a revolution of resilience, a revolution where vulnerability becomes our superpower. Consider Lisa Price, founder of Carol's Daughter. When she started mixing hair products in her Brooklyn kitchen, mainstream investors scoffed. There's no market for products specifically designed for Black women, they said. The beauty industry had convinced itself that Black women's needs weren't worth addressing. Did Lisa back down? No. She leaned into community. She hosted what she called kitchen table sales, intimate gatherings where women shared stories about their hair journeys while trying her products. She built trust through vulnerability and authenticity. Today, Carol's Daughter is an iconic brand acquired by L'Oreal, with Lisa maintaining creative control throughout. She transformed skepticism into a multi-million dollar enterprise that opened doors for countless other minority owned brands. But here's what's remarkable about Lisa's story: it wasn't just about business success, it was about healing. By creating products rooted in family traditions and cultural understanding, she helped Black women reclaim beauty standards that had long excluded them. Her vulnerability about her own hair journey created space for others to embrace theirs. This is what Angela Smith emphasized in our interview: that true resilience isn't just about individual triumph, it's about creating collective healing. Or consider Cernisha Burston, who faced the ultimate test of resilience when she experienced multiple devastating losses in her life. In a culture where Black families often maintain silence around grief, where being strong means not showing pain, Cernesha made the radical choice to speak openly about her healing process. Through podcasts and workshops, she transformed her personal pain into a platform that helps others recognize inherited patterns of emotional suppression. She challenged the notion that vulnerability equals weakness. Instead, she reframed it as the cornerstone of authentic strength. The strongest thing I ever did, Cernacia often says, was admit I wasn't okay. This echoes what Angela shared about her own journey through grief and rebuilding. After facing homelessness, abuse, and the unimaginable pain of losing a child, Angela didn't just survive, she created a new narrative, one where seeking support wasn't shameful, but essential, where vulnerability became the foundation for genuine connection. The third story that illuminates this revolution is April Verrett, president of SEIU Local 2015, the nation's largest union representing long term care workers, predominantly women and people of color. During the COVID crisis, when these essential workers were overlooked despite their critical roles, April didn't just advocate for policy change. She shared stories, raw, honest stories of caregivers balancing impossible demands. Raised in South Los Angeles amid economic uncertainty, too, April understood firsthand the challenges facing working mothers and grandmothers. She became the youngest African American woman elected president at her SEIU local chapter, not by hiding this background, but by centering it in her leadership approach. Through political platforms and media appearances, April shifted public debates around what essential work means, increasing visibility and resources, especially for low income Black families and women leaders. Her advocacy won expanded paid sick leave provisions and secured increased funding benefiting thousands. What connects these stories, Lisa's, Cernecia's, April's, and Angela's, is a fundamental reimagining of what strength looks like. They show us that resilience isn't about never breaking, it's about how we piece ourselves back together and who we invite into that process. This is the heart of what Angela Smith shared in our conversation, that after trauma, whether it's losing a child, facing abuse, experiencing homelessness, or being systematically underestimated, we can stand tall again. Not because we pretend the pain never happened, but because we acknowledge it, process it, and transform it. But here's the crucial part: we don't do this alone. The second insight from Angela's journey is that vulnerability builds community. When we dare to say, I'm struggling, we create space for authentic connection. Research consistently shows that embracing vulnerability not only fosters personal healing, but strengthens families, communities, and workplaces by encouraging genuine relationships. Think about it. How many times have you been moved to tears by someone's honest sharing? How many times has someone's courage to be vulnerable given you permission to do the same? There's immense power in those moments: power to heal, power to connect, power to transform. Yet in professional spaces, particularly for Black women, vulnerability is often seen as liability. The pressure to appear perpetually strong, perpetually capable, perpetually unaffected by racism, sexism, or personal challenges creates an impossible standard. A standard that Angela Smith is helping dismantle through her willingness to speak openly about her journey. This brings us to the third insight: redefining success to include healing as an essential component of leadership. For too long, we've measured success by external metrics: titles, salaries, achievements. We've celebrated those who push through pain, who sacrifice well being for accomplishment, who wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. But what if true success includes acknowledging inherited struggles like generational trauma while actively choosing healing paths for ourselves and future generations? What if leadership isn't just about driving results, but about creating environments where people can be whole, human, and healing? This is the revolution Angela Smith embodies. By sharing her story openly, she creates new legacies where love, family bonds, and self advocacy become central measures of achievement, where healing isn't something we do despite our leadership roles, but because of them. So I stand before you today with an urgent challenge. Will you join this resilient revolution? Will you dare to show your scars in a world obsessed with perfection? Will you speak your truth when silence feels safer? Will you reach for connection when isolation beckons? Because here's what I know for certain: your vulnerability is not your weakness, it is your greatest untapped power. Your wounds are not your shame, they are your wisdom waiting to be shared. Your healing journey is not separate from your leadership, it is the very foundation of it. Tomorrow, I want you to do something radical. When someone asks how you are, tell them the truth. When you're struggling, reach out instead of retreating. When you witness someone else's vulnerability, honor it as the gift it is. This revolution begins with a single courageous choice: to stand in your truth, to share your story, to reach out your hand, whether to offer support or to ask for it. The world doesn't need more people pretending to be invincible. It needs more people brave enough to be human. It needs you, all of you, not just the polished parts, but the broken places too. Because those broken places, they're where your light gets in. They're where your power lives. They're where your true leadership begins. The resilient revolution is calling. Will you answer?